The Houston Texans are terrifying. They have traded for Stefon Diggs. Yes, that's Stefon Diggs. The Buffalo Bills superstar wide receiver has been traded to an AFC contender. Who would have thought the Houston Texans have turned this thing around in 2 years? And now they've landed Stefon Diggs for a 2025 second round pick. Diggs will be dealt to the Texans along with a 5th and 6th round selection. So to clarify, Stefon Diggs, a 5th and a 6th for a future second round pick. In this video, I'm going to discuss how this makes the Houston Texans the most dangerous threat to the Chiefs and the AFC in 2024, and how this creates a transition period for the Buffalo Bills. Gronk, spike the like button. Don't forget to let me know in the comments what you think, and subscribe for more NFL breaking news and analysis here on the BLV. Stefon Diggs. You all know him. You might like him. You might hate him. Regardless, you know he's been pretty darn productive. I'm talking about a receiver that since about 2018 has had 1,000 yards every single season in the NFL. That's 2 years with the Vikings, starting at 25 years of age. 1,000 yards. 1,000 yards. 1,000 yards. 1,000 yards. 1,000 yards. 1,000 yards. 6 1,000-yard seasons in a row. Multiple 100-catch seasons. He's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, including 4 in a row. Including a 2020 where he led the NFL in receptions, led the NFL in receiving yards, was a first-team All-Pro, has another second-team All-Pro to his name, has 4 consecutive Pro Bowls to his name. Yeah, Stefon Diggs has been really good. He is now 30 years old, so he's getting a little bit older. But Stefon Diggs is still really good. I will say that he's not the top 5 receiver he was from about 2020 through 2022, but he's still really good. I think the main area he has regressed is his potency down the field. I think his speed, his explosion has regressed just a tad. From what I've seen, I still think he's really good. I think he's one of the best route runners in football. I think he's one of the most complete receivers in football. I think he could fit in any offense. I think he can run any route tree you want from any position. The X, the Z, the slot. He's really good in all spots. And I think that's what's going to make him so potent for CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans and within this offense. Man, I think that the Houston Texans, just after this trade, have become, and I will say it, and I'm not scared, I will be picking the Texans to go to the Super Bowl out of the AFC. It's a headline statement. I understand. It's a hot take, maybe. But on paper, this team has everything I look for in a Super Bowl team, everything I look for in an AFC champion, a team that can take an immense step. They have done everything you would ask. They have a young quarterback who I love, CJ Stroud. I thought he was arguably the MVP at one point in the season as a rookie last year. He is one of the most just intuitive playmakers at quarterback, one of the most accurate passers in football, and he doesn't make mistakes, and he's a great leader, and he's got a wicked arm that I'm sure Stefon Diggs will love. They have other receivers I love. Nico Collins is a real number 1 alpha threat. You combine him with Stefon Diggs, now you're in trouble. You've got a big receiver and a shifty receiver. Now Diggs can move to the slot and run more underneath quick option routes, like slants, right? Just quick hitches, get the ball in his hands, let him work. Just he can work the middle of the field really well. Or you could put him on the opposite side, move Tank Dell to the slot. You're going to have so much versatility within what you can do here with these three different potent threats, including Tank Dell, who can really run, stretch the field, be a guy that can work vertical and stress a defense. We saw that last year. And they have other receivers that I don't mind as well. Dalton Schultz is a really calculated good tight end. He's a good security blanket for an offense. Joe Mixon, they added to the running back position, who's going to give them a real threat from the backfield, who can catch passes himself, but also is a really dynamic runner, is going to be able to pick up the short yardage when they need it the most. Great in the screen game and going to be great in the red zone. All areas that they could utilize, that they can get better in. The offensive line is probably average, but Stroud does so much to overcome it with his decision-making, his pocket movement, and manipulation. And as long as it can stay healthy, I definitely think it could get better than last year. So the offense is going to be top 3, top 5 in football. You look at it on paper, they've got a really good play caller. They've got a guy that understands how to utilize balance, play action, formations, right? The leverage of a wide receiver and a formation and how that can attack a secondary. I think that they have one of the best play callers in football, and I think that they have one of the most complete rosters in the entire NFL, which is why I'm willing to say this team right now, and people are going to say, Mitch, you do it every year. How can you disrespect the Chiefs? Let's be fair, guys. Like, Rashee Rice is on the run. L'Jarius Sneed got traded. Are you really about to say this team's going to three-peat when that doesn't happen? With that roster, and you look at the Texans with Bobby Slowick calling plays and Diggs, Dell, Collins, Noah Brown, Joe Mixon, Dalton Schultz, Laramie Tunsil, one of the best left tackles in football, Shaq Mason at guard. You've got Will Anderson, Danico Autry, Danielle Hunter. You really secured the defensive line. The pass rush is going to be able to get after Burrow, get after Mahomes, get after Lamar, dominate. You've got a true 15-sack type of guy in Danielle Hunter. You've got a great rotation of rushers in Autry, in Barnett, in Anderson, in Mario Edwards, in Tim Settle. I mean, this D-line is loaded too. You've got a dominant D-line with a high potent attack on offense that can run the ball, that can throw the ball. And you've got a number 1 corner in Derek Stingley. The only thing they need to add from here on out is a CB2. That's what I think. The only thing they need to add is a CB2. They added Jeff Okudah. They added Miles Bryant. They added CJ Henderson. Upside in all those moves, potentially. But could they add another one in the draft? I definitely think so. Could they probably still add a veteran? I probably think so. You don't think that one of these veterans, Xavier Howard, Stephon Gilmore, would sign for cheap to go there? Just saying, right? Azeez Al-Shaair upgraded the linebacker position. He knows the defense from D'Amico. This team has all of it. All of the pieces that I look for in a Super Bowl team. It gets me pumped. It gets me excited. It gets me excited to see teams actually try. You know what I mean? Like, actually go for it. The Texans are truly trying. They're truly going for it. Nick Caserio understood the assignment, and he executed. I was critical of this team right at the start of free agency because I'm like, come on, guys, let's get it going. Like, let's get it going. Right? And eventually, Danielle Hunter. Eventually, Danico Autry. Right? Eventually, Joe Mixon. And then we're like, yeah, this is more like it. Then they add Azeez. Then they add Stefon Diggs. I mean, come on. This is everything you wanted and more if you're a Texans fan. You've got all the pieces for a highly enjoyable 2024 NFL season. And I think Stefon Diggs, a lot of people are going to say, he's a cancer, this and that. And maybe, or maybe he just didn't like his situation in Buffalo. Maybe he did not get along with certain individuals there. Maybe D'Amico Ryans and CJ Stroud are going to be able to hold it down, because I don't think Nick Caserio makes this trade if he doesn't think that his inner workings of his franchise, his leadership, D'Amico Ryans, could take a Stefon Diggs. Nick Caserio is a Patriot guy. I don't see him doing that unless he understands that his team can take it. His team can withstand it and his team can get the most out of Stefon Diggs. I think Diggs was somewhat frustrated with the offense last year and the change to Joe Brady, which made it a lot more run-focused, a lot more bubble screen-focused, a lot less to Stefon Diggs. And Diggs became kind of an afterthought. And maybe, just maybe, Diggs has become a little bit jealous of Josh Allen. I don't know. But I do know that things run its course in the NFL, and Diggs, season after season after season, was falling short with the Buffalo Bills. And now he has renewed hope and renewed purpose and ability to now go to a team like he did with Buffalo and put them over the top. That is where we saw the best Stefon Diggs. So I actually am truly looking forward to this. I think it's a great move for the Texans. They didn't even have to give up a first-round pick for a receiver that has 6 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons, 4 consecutive 100-catch seasons. He's 30 years old. He's not 32 or 33. So, and the dead money the Bills took on was crazy. $31 million in dead money is the 6th most dead money in a single season of all time. But that kind of transitions my thoughts to the Bills real quick, and we'll get back to the Texans. But you guys let me know what you think in the comments, and Gronk spike the like button. The Buffalo Bills are flipping the page to a new chapter in their franchise. They're transitioning. And that can be a good thing. I don't think this is always a negative to trade a great player, a player that your fan base loved and fell in love with. I think sometimes it can be a good thing because you can recalibrate and recalculate what you need to be a successful Super Bowl caliber team. And with Josh Allen, you're still going to be good. You're still going to be decent. You're still going to win some games, 8, 9, 10 games. I wouldn't doubt the Bills being first in the division. Now, I will say, I would lean towards the Jets in that conversation. The Jets have become big winners of this offseason, including this trade. They are beneficiaries. I think the Dolphins are in line with the Bills and will be competitive with them, but I could see the Bills squeaking out a 7th wild card spot. I wouldn't be shocked. Josh Allen's that good. He's capable of carrying a team. And McDermott's shown he can coach a defense, and I've liked what I saw with the run game last year. So if they hit in the draft, I wouldn't even be shocked if this team was a 10-11 win team, if they can hit on a receiver in the first round and do some things in the draft that make them a little bit more complete as a team. But I think this move is more about the long-term vision of what they're going to bring the Buffalo Bills. And you look at this entire offseason. They've gotten rid of Tre'Davious White, Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde, haven't re-signed. They moved on from Mitch Morse. They moved on from Stefon Diggs. Those 5 guys are all the figureheads outside of Josh Allen and Sean McDermott of this last era of Buffalo ball. You really think about it, and maybe you're missing Matt Milano, but that's about it, right? Deion Dawkins is another one that's still on the team. But those are the guys that made this team what it was, made this team that Super Bowl threat each and every year from 2019, 2020 through 2023, 2024. And now they're doing the smart thing. They understand that this team probably isn't there. And why not just restart, recalibrate, retool? We're not going to suck. We still got number 17. We still got enough players. I like what they've done this offseason. I think that their O-line is fine enough. I think they've got a really capable running back who can carry the load. I like the Curtis Samuel signing. I think Shakir is a player. I like Kincaid in his second year. They got Dawson Knox still. The D-line is pretty good on paper. Daquan Jones in the middle with Ed Oliver, with Greg Rousseau. They still got to move on from Von Miller's contract. This year also gives them a bridge to do that. AJ Epinesa re-signed. I like that. Matt Milano's back. I like that. Okay, Nicholas Moreau comes in as a depth piece. I like that. I like the Mike Edwards signing. I like Rasul Douglas. That trade last year was great. And then Teron Johnson getting an extension. Very nice. Benford's a good player. So I like the things that they've been doing. Taylor Rapp coming back. I think that's a solid signing. But this is more about, okay, let's try to sign guys that we like, that aren't too old, that we can transition with. But then also, let's try to recalibrate this roster through the draft. Let's surround Josh Allen with a winning team, a new number 1 receiver, maybe another number 2 receiver who are cheaper. That's a good idea. Let's get some defense in here. Let's get some pass rush in here. Let's move on from Von Miller next year. Let's really go after it for 2025, 2026, 2027. This is going to be a bridge year where they're able to recalibrate, get their cap in order, and then go for it again. Just fair, totally fair. And I think it's warranted. Because I think if they would have continued on this trajectory, it would have just been, people would have said in 10 years, 20 years, the Josh Allen Bills never won because they just kept trying to go for it each and every year and they just got too old and they got past their peak. Well, they're doing what the Chiefs did a couple years ago. The Chiefs ended up winning the Super Bowl because of it. But they really went, and refilled their draft capital, hit on a bunch of draft picks, kind of luckily, but also skilled-wise. And then were able to do this thing. So for the Bills, maybe they won't win the Super Bowl this year. I don't think they have quite the foundation of talent or the coaching to do that. But I do believe that they'll be able to recalibrate this year and restructure their team for the future to be able to win a Super Bowl one day with Josh Allen. That's what I think. So I think it's a good move. I would have liked a first-round pick, but again, the contract, the personality, things like that probably doesn't allow a first-round pick to be in the cards. And again, the Texans have become, to me, the best team in the AFC on paper. Like, they are that good. They are that good. They have everything. They have the head coach that calls defensive plays that can stifle an opponent. They have a pass rush that can take over and win you a game. They have a number one corner who can match up with a number one receiver. They have fast linebackers that I think you need in the NFL. They have a quarterback that can make plays inside and outside of structure. They have a reliable tight end. They have 2 to 3 wide receivers that can do damage. They have a running back that can make plays. They have everything that you're looking for in a Super Bowl team, a Super Bowl contender. And they will be at the top of my list for a team that I'm going to pick to win the Super Bowl this year. So that's how I feel, man. That's how I really feel. You guys let me know how you really feel. Just to go a little bit deeper to finish this off on Stefon Diggs. He is 30, turning 31 in November. So he's not 31 till November. He has had, like I said, 9,995 yards in his career. He's played 136 games. He is a multi-time All-Pro, multi-time Pro Bowler. He has 6 1,000-yard seasons in a row, 2 10-touchdown seasons in his career. He has at least 8 touchdowns since 2020 in every single season. And he has played a lot of games. He has very rarely missed action. 17, 16, 17, 16, 15, dating back to 2019. And with the Bills, he was a potent player. I think he has regressed, like I stated. I don't think he's quite the big play threat he once was, but I think he's still darn near one of the best route runners in football. I think he's going to... Nico Collins is the big threat. Tank Dell is the big threat. His deficiencies won't be seen as much, in my opinion. Diggs was the 21st graded receiver, according to PFF last year. Funny enough, Nico Collins was 3rd, and Tank Dell was 15th. 21st, Stefon Diggs... 1,074 snaps last season, 6 foot, drafted in 2015 in the 5th round. In his career, 21st last year, he was 5th in 2022, according to PFF, 12th in 2021, 4th in 2020. And then before that, he's never been worse than 25th in his entire career, dating back to his rookie season. He's a great player, has been a great player. And he's had a borderline Hall of Fame caliber resume since 2018. Can he continue that with the Texans? He's got a good chance. He's got a really good quarterback. I'm looking forward to seeing the distribution, how this helps people in fantasy and so on. I do believe that this helps CJ Stroud, obviously, in the MVP conversation. I think he's going to be in the forefront of my mind in terms of potential players that could win that. I think that this obviously hurts Tank Dell and Nico Collins in terms of individual statistics and fantasy conversation. Joe Mixon, probably a little bit less work in the receiving game. But in terms of the team, they're going to be that much more successful. The defense is going to have less pressure to succeed now, and they're going to have a top 3 offense in football. There's no doubt about it. Bills-wise, the Curtis Samuel conversation could be had. Like, he could be the number one this year for them at wide receiver. Shakir could also take on a bigger role. Dalton Kincaid, I'd expect more targets to go to him. And James Cook, I'd expect to be the biggest beneficiary because I think they're going to run the ball much more this year. And maybe the focus of their offense will be power running along with tight ends and Josh Allen. Let me know what you guys think of this move. Stefon Diggs is a Houston Texan. The NFL, you got a problem because the Texans are terrifying. Gronk, spike the like button, subscribe. We'll see you soon. Peace.